So students, now that we refreshed our memory on area, we can move on to what is volume. In our warm-up, we talked about our ideas of what volume is in the real world, items that have volume, like cell phones, our tables that we're sitting at, shoes in a box, measuring cups. But now we need to think of it in math terms and how we find volume of a rectangular prism and other shapes. Please write this down in your guys' notebook. You guys need this definition. Volume is the amount of space taken up by an object. Volume is used to measure 3D shapes. It is measured in cubic units, and the formula is as followed: length times width times height. So 3 different multiplications. Again, volume is the amount of space taken up by an object. At the bottom of this green shape, we have length. Width is on the side in the red, and height is right here, from top to bottom, how many cubes. So we do volume as length times width times height. So in this blue figure, for the width, it is 2 meters, 1, 2. For the length, we count 1, 2, 3. We can write that down. 3 meters times 2 meters. Now let's count the height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 meters times 2 meters times 5 meters. You guys need to write that down. And you guys can simply do the multiplication. 3 times 2, 6. 6 meters times 5 meters is 30 cubic meters. Right here on the left, we can use our MA blocks to learn about volume. Right here is 1 cubic unit, just 1. But the volume gets a little bit bigger when you see 100 cubic units together. And it can look a little overwhelming how you're going to try and solve this. But remember, the face, the width, and the height. Now this is explained a little bit better. Why? 1 cubic unit, 1, 1, and 1. So 1 times 1 times 1, 1 cubic unit. But right here we would do 10 times 10 times 10. So we have to make sure our multiplication is right by knowing our times tables. Right here it's shown 10 times 10 times 10 equals 1,000. To measure the volume inside something, we find how many cubes fit in it. Here's some examples of cubic units of a rectangular prism. 1 inch would be cubic inches to the 3rd power. 1 centimeter, cubic centimeters by 3. 1 foot, cubic feet by feet to the 3rd. And 1 yard, cubic yards to the 3rd. Now right here is a great song that would help you guys remember volume.
I'm crazy what I'm about to teach. Some are easy, other challenging. It's represented by a V. First you find multiply, don't forget to add a 3. It's called the voice of the problem you must find. Line up both sides. It's called the voice of the problem you must see. The called the voice of the problem you must find. Product, but that's not it. It's called the what you have found. The volume. Don't forget it's cubic units. Hey, hey, hey. When it's irregular, what you gonna do? Divide that shape up into two. Find the volumes of each one separately. Add them together, just remember, don't you forget the three. Yeah. It's called the voice of the problem you must find. The length of the book side. It's called the voice of the problem you must find. The width and discover the height. It's called the voice of the problem you must find. The product, but that's not it. It's called the volume you found. The volume. Make sure it's cubic units. Hey, how much will go in? Can you measure it up? How much will go in? Can you measure it there? How much will go in? Can you measure it up? How much will go in? It's called the volume of the problem you must find. The length of the book size. It's called the voice of the problem you must see. The width and discover the height. It's called the voice of the problem you must find. Product, but that's not it. It's called the volume found. The volume. Make sure it's cubic units.
Thank you guys for watching that video. I think it was not only catchy because it's to one of the songs you guys listen to, Happy, but it also helps you remember the formula to volume. And it showed real life items like a box, how you can use the formula to find out the volume. So now after that video, we're going to have a practice worksheet finding the volume of rectangular prisms. I'm going to pass out the worksheet, and I want you guys to work with your elbow partners to complete the worksheet in 10 minutes. I'll then put the answers up so you guys can check your work. And if there's any questions, please let me know. This is going to be the worksheet handed out with a few questions, and you guys can work with your partner. Once the students have 10 minutes to finish, I will put up this with the answers on it so they can compare their answers and see what they did right and what they did wrong. It's important not to just copy students, but actually see if you guys know how to solve them and make sure your multiplication is right as well, and make sure you're adding the right sides up, the length, width, and height. And after 10 minutes, we'll go over it together. I'll answer any questions. And what are composite, students, of rectangular prisms? Composite rectangular prisms have two or more prisms in one figure. I know it does look a little bit overwhelming. How do I solve this? Composite means it's made up of more than one. It's made up of two or more elements. So you see the green and the yellow. There's two figures. How do we find the volume of a composite rectangular prism? Now that you guys know how to do volume of one item, let's try two. First, we need to separate the shapes, and we have to find the volume for each one separately. So this green one, length times width times height, it's 2 by 2 by 2. So 2 times 2 times 2. Then you're going to add the volume of the second, the blue shape, which would be 2 by 4 by 2. I need you guys to be writing this down on your math notebook. And how do we find the volume of a composite rectangular prism? Well, we add the 8 inches by 3 plus the 16 inches by 3. And we just add them to get 24 inches. and that is the volume of both combined. So please take a minute to write this down, this example. And I'm passing out a second worksheet. It's another quick assignment, and I want you to work with your elbow partner to complete the worksheet in 10 minutes. If there are any questions, you guys can let me know, and when you're done, I will post the answers again. I want to see if you guys understand the volume of composite rectangular prisms. Remember, you find the volume of each separate and you add them together. I'll have a student help me pass these out again, and you have 6 examples that you guys need to find. You can write the answers on the right-hand corner and make sure that your answers are answered with centimeters cubed at the end. You cannot just put 12 for the answer. It has to be 12 centimeters cubed. After you guys have 10 minutes, I'm going to post these answers. And you guys compare and see if you got them right, if you did it wrong. If you have any questions, you guys can ask, and we can see if your multiplication went wrong or your splitting of the two went wrong, because that will give you a different answer. Now that we've done a few examples, it's time to discuss homework and an exit ticket before recess. For your homework, you could write this in your planner. You guys need to find an item at home that has volume. Any item. I gave a few examples right here of a measuring cup, of a shoebox, anything. You guys can be very creative with this. I need you guys to write in your notebook, write what the item is, what shape it is, and can you measure the volume. We'll be going over this tomorrow. You guys will be discussing it with your group, and then I'll be picking individuals to share what item they found. Be prepared to share with your homework with your group tomorrow. This will be at the beginning of our math lesson. Our exit ticket. Okay, everyone, grab your blue half sheet of paper and answer the following 2 questions. Make sure you guys hand me your paper because it's your exit ticket to recess. How do we find the volume of a rectangular prism and cube? How do we find the volume of composite rectangular prisms? You guys will be turning this in like I said, so write question number 1 down and question 2, and make sure to give me the formula in these, okay?